What is the worst feeling of this world? Feeling heartbroken? Feeling the dreams crash? Feeling betrayed or feeling like a fool? Cerse doesn't know the answer, but she knows whatever she's feeling right now is the worst painful feeling she have ever felt. The sight in front of her is too painful to bear, but she couldn't even move her gaze. She couldn't even turn around and walk away. Her body is feeling numb. The stadium was still roaring, but for the people in the center of the storm, time seemed to stop. Taehyung finally pulled away from the kiss, his forehead resting against Yen's. He was breathless, sweaty, and wearing the biggest smile Yen had ever seen. He didn't care that his teammates were staring or that the big screen was still showing them to the entire crowd. Taehyung, I told you I'd win for you, Yen, giggling, still out of breath. You did, but everyone is looking. Taehyung didn't even flinch. He kept his arm hooked firmly around Yen's waist, pulling her into his side as he finally looked toward the bleachers. His eyes met Cerse's for a brief second. He smiled a little. He then looked at Jungkook, who was standing a few feet away, leaning on his bat with a look that was half annoyed and half impressed. Jungkook, way to go, scholar. You just broke the campus internet in 5 seconds. Taehyung, at least I hit the home run. Jeon, now, if you'll excuse us, I'm taking my wife to get some actual food. Jungkook, yeah, but get yourself a room first. You disgusted me. He pretended to gag. Yen walked towards him with a smile. Yen, you've played very well. Jungkook, congratulations on your win. Jungkook, I'm pro at baseball, you know. Tell the new guy I'm way better than him, he said with a proud grin. Yen, don't overestimate yourself. Jeon, Jungkook, whatever. At least I don't play dirty tricks like other mans, he said with a smirk, making Yen frown. Yen, what do you mean? Jungkook, nothing. Have a great day, he said, and walk away calmly to his friends and fangirls. But before that he stopped in front of Cerse, only to show her his satisfied smirk. Cerse was still frozen by the railing. Her face was pale, and the sports drink she had been so proud of was sitting forgotten on the floor. The other students were whispering, pointing at Yen, and realizing that the girl from the neighboring college was actually the partner of Archide's star pitcher. Cerse, whispering to herself, her voice trembling with rage, he lied to me. He made me look like a fool. She blinked her tears of realizing Taehyung is walking towards her way, holding that girl's hand. Taehyung, hey Cerse, let me introduce you to my girl. She's Yen, my beautiful wife. Wife, this word made her leftover hope crash. He's actually married. Cerse couldn't take it anymore. She turned and walked away. Taehyung frowned. Taehyung, what just happened? Yen, maybe she's not feeling well, she said with a tight smile, but deep inside she could guess what actually happened to Cerse. Cerse was rushing towards the washroom when she bumped with Jungkook. Jungkook, watch out, nerd. Or should I say heartbroken girl? Such a pity. Turns out your hero is a married man. He let out a mocking laugh. Cerse looked at him with burning gaze. Jungkook, oh, now you're glaring at me. I got scared. Cerse, move from my way. Jungkook, yeah, sure. Go and cry inside the washroom. Pathetic little shit. Your hero just used you to get a secured job. He laughed and walked away, leaving a devastated Cerse. Yen is sitting on the cafeteria with Annie and Rex. Annie is talking non-stop while Yen is in her deep thoughts. Rex, is everything okay? Yen, you're looking lost. Annie stopped talking and turned to Yen. Annie, are you feeling sick? Yen look at her friends and shake her head. Yen, Taehyung introduced me to Cerse today. Rex, and Yen, she walk away without a word. Annie, she's definitely in love with your husband. Yen nodded a little. Yen, it's very obvious. I've guessed it long ago, but something else is bothering me. Annie, what is this? Yen take a deep breath and spoke. Yen, I've been with you guys since months and I realize one thing. You guys are my bestest friend. Annie Annie melted. Rex smile and ruffle Yen's hair. Yen, so now, I think I can share my everything with you. Actually Taehyung was a playboy. Annie, what? Rex, I'm sorry, can you repeat it? Yen, before our marriage, Taehyung was a playboy. He dated uncountable girls. Annie, but he doesn't look like that. Rex, that was before marriage, right? I'm sure he have changed. He looks mature and responsible now. Yen, he definitely changed, for me, for our babies. But I'm thinking something else. Annie, what is it? Yen, me and Taehyung, we grow up together. I know him very well, and he's very experienced with girls. I'm sure he knows and understands very well that Cerse is seriously in love with him. Then why he's pretending like he's unaware? Rex, are you sure he knows about Cerse's feeling? Yn nodded. Y or N? I told you he's very experienced with girls. I'm sure he's aware about that girl's feelings, and not only that, I'm wondering why he didn't tell Cerse that he's married in the first place. Annie, oh my god, why or N are you doubting on you husband? Y or N shake her head multiple times. Yn, not at all. He's a fantastic husband. He loves me more than anything. He even sacrificed his everything for me. It's just I'm scared. Rex, scared of what? Y or N? I'm scared he might take a wrong and dangerous path to secure our future. Annie tilted her head, not understanding anything. But Rex asked, Rex, you think he played with Cerse's feelings for this job? Y or N didn't answer. Instead she looked at the glass door of the cafeteria. The door opened with a soft ring sound as Taehyung walked in with a big bright smile. Annie gulped. Now he's looking scary and mysterious to her. Taehyung walked towards their table and kissed Yn's head. Taehyung, sorry for making you wait. Actually, coach did a little celebration dance in the locker room and we enjoyed it. The atmosphere in the cafeteria shifted the moment Taehyung walked in. To everyone else in the room, he was the hero of the hour, the star pitcher who just won a major match and publicly claimed his wife. But for Y or N, Rex, and Annie, the air felt thick with the heavy secrets they had just discussed. Taehyung pulled up a chair next to Y or N, looking completely energized. He seemed totally oblivious to the fact that his arrival had silenced the table. Taehyung, why is everyone so quiet? Did the cafeteria run out of the good sandwiches? He laughed, reaching over to squeeze Yn's hand. Taehyung, are you still thinking about Cerse? I'm sure she's fine, baby. Probably just overwhelmed by the crowd. Yn looked at his bright, handsome face. She wanted to believe that smile. She wanted to believe he was just being his usual kind self. But Rex's question, you think he played with Cerse's feelings for this job, echoed in her mind. Rex, clearing his throat, trying to sound casual. So Taehyung, that job at Klein Enterprises, it's a pretty big deal for a student. You must be really grateful to Cerse for setting that up. Taehyung's smile didn't fade, but his eyes sharpened for a split second. Taehyung, of course, it's a great opportunity. Why do you ask, Rex? Rex, just wondering. It's rare for someone to go that far for a friend they barely know. She must really value you. Taehyung, she values hard work, and I give her that. Now, can we talk about something else? I want to take Yn out to celebrate properly tonight. Annie, Rex, you guys should come too. My treat. Annie looked at Rex, then back at Taehyung. She was usually the first one to jump at free food, but she felt a strange shiver. She kept remembering Yn's words. Taehyung was a playboy. She looked at the way he was perfectly doting on Y or N and wondered, was this the mature Taehyung, or was he just the best actor in the world? Meanwhile, in the washroom, Cerse stood in front of the mirror, splashing cold water on her face. Her makeup was ruined, but she didn't care. She locked herself in the washroom for hours. Her mind kept repeating the scene of Taehyung kissing another girl. The black mascara ran down her cheeks like dark tears, but the real pain was deeper, sitting heavy in her chest. She gripped the edges of the sink, her hands shaking. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw it again, his hands on someone else's waist, the way he leaned in so easily, and the smile he gave that girl, the same smile Cerse thought was meant only for her. Cerse, was he thinking of her when he smiled at me yesterday? She whispered to the empty room. The question hurt more than the sight of the kiss. She went back through the last few weeks in her head, searching for clues she might have missed. Every sweet text and every long look now felt like misunderstanding and mistake. She leaned her forehead against the glass, the surface fogging with her jagged breath. She wasn't just grieving him, she was grieving the version of herself that had been brave enough to hope. Now, that girl felt like a stranger, a fool who had mistaken a polite spark for a burning fire. Cerse, I was never even in the race, she whispered to the drain, watching the gray, makeup-stained water swirl and vanish. Cerse, I was just watching from the sidelines, thinking I was part of the game. Suddenly she remembered Jungkook's words. They were like venom in her ears. Your hero just used you to get a secure job. She looked at her reflection, her eyes red and burning with a mix of heartbreak and humiliation. Cerse, whispering to the mirror, no, he didn't. I know he didn't. She harshly wiped her tears and stomped out from the washroom. Inside the locker room of the arcade baseball team, the boys were celebrating their victory. Empty beer cans that they had secretly brought in were lying here and there. Some boys were singing, while others were dancing. Jungkook was standing in the middle, holding a beer can, loudly enjoying the moment. Just then, Cerse came in. She didn't care that it was the boys' locker room, and she didn't care that this room was full of her bullies. She just needed to clear one thing. She walked straight toward Jungkook and harshly turned him around to face her. The room went dead silent. Jungkook was stunned for a few seconds, then he placed one hand over his chest, acting like he was terrified. Jungkook, oh my god, you scared me. You look exactly like a witch. The boys weirdly stared at her ruined makeup, which stained her face with a dark shade. Her always perfect twin braids were looking messy, but she didn't care about the gazes on her. She had just come here to say one thing. Cerse, he didn't use me. He could never do this. In fact, he doesn't even know my father owns Klein Enterprises. Jungkook looked shocked, maybe seeing her courage, but then, he let out a mocking laugh. Jungkook, you're not a secret heir of a billionaire. Anyone who's interested in business and the Kleins will definitely know who you are. Cerse, but that doesn't mean he used me to get the job. Jungkook poked his inner cheek with his tongue. Jungkook, you're not the only one I bully on this campus. Why does he always save only you? Cerse, because he likes me. Jungkook and his gang laughed at the exact same time. Cerse's face turned red, but she remained confident. Jungkook, wake up to reality, nerd. He's happily married to a girl named Yn. Cerse, Yn. She repeated the name unknowingly. Jungkook walked away with his gang, leaving Cerse completely alone in the boys' locker room. Cerse, does he really? Suddenly, her phone rang. She looked down at the caller ID, and it was Taehyung. She took a deep breath before answering the call. Taehyung, hey Cerse. Her heart skipped a beat hearing his voice. She used to feel so happy whenever he called her, but today, her heart felt heavy. Taehyung, are you there? Cerse, yeah. Taehyung, you're not sounding well? Did you catch a cold? She felt the worry in his voice. Does he really care? She thought before saying. Cerse, yeah, I got a little cold. Taehyung, did you take any medicine? Cerse, I did. Taehyung, perfect. Now listen, your treat is still pending, and today we won, so it's the perfect time to celebrate. Cerse, I can't come. Taehyung, come on Cerse, I can't celebrate my success without you. You're the reason why I am here today. His words made her aching heart flutter. Cerse, am I important in your life, Tae? She asked out of the blue. There was a long silence on the other side. Then, she heard a soft chuckle. Taehyung, of course you are. Is this even a question? Cerse, then, see you tonight. She cut the call with a small smile of satisfaction. Cerse, I am important to him. Taehyung ended the call and noticed Yn was staring at him. Not exactly at him, but in his direction, as if she was thinking deeply about something. Taehyung, what are you thinking, love? Yn shook her head and looked down at her lap. Yn, nothing. Taehyung walked over to the couch and sat next to Yn. He wrapped his arms around her. Taehyung, let's go. Yn, where? You invited them at night, right? Taehyung, yes, but the day is ours. Let's go shopping. Then we'll go to the arcade. Yn, sounds good, but I'm not feeling well today. Can we go another day? Taehyung's expression instantly turned into a worried one. He cupped her face. Taehyung, is it hurting anywhere? Let's go to the doctor now. Yn, no, I'm fine. I'm just tired and need some rest. Taehyung, I'm so sorry. I should have thought about it. You're carrying our twins, it's not easy. Wait, I'll cancel the dinner. Yn, no need. You already canceled the plan with Cerse once. It will be very rude and bad if you do it again. I can take proper rest until evening. Taehyung, alright then, take some rest. He take her to the bed and helped her lay down. Taehyung, by the way, are Annie and Rex coming? Yn, no, Rex can't come because he works a part-time job at a restaurant until late at night, and Annie won't come without Rex. Taehyung nodded, understanding her words. Taehyung, okay, but this weekend we're going out. You, me, and our babies. You'll do shopping for our Twinkle and Sparkle. Yn, sure. She said it with a tight smile, but she didn't feel the excitement. The worry and the doubt were completely killing her from the inside. That night she wanted to look her best. As the sun started sinking, inviting the evening Cerse thought would be the best night of her life, but she doesn't know another truth will crash her leftover hope. The restaurant was elegant, filled with soft jazz music and dim lighting. Cerse arrived first, wearing a beautiful dress and fresh makeup, looking perfect again. She checked herself for the 10th time in her small hand mirror before putting back in her bag. She's happy and at the same time nervous. Her heart beat fast with hope, but that hope vanished when the restaurant door opened. Taehyung walked in looking as handsome as ever, tightly holding Yen's hand. He was guiding Yen carefully, treating her like a precious glass doll. Cerse felt a sharp stab of jealousy, but she quickly forced a sweet smile onto her face. Cerse, hey, Tae, you're finally here. Taehyung, hey Cerse, sorry we are a bit late, the traffic was bad. Taehyung pulled out a chair for Yen first, making sure she was comfortable before he sat down between the two women. Yen looked at Cerse, and Cerse looked at Yen. Both of them felt a wave of insecurity and tension, but they forced polite smiles. Yen, hello, Cerse, it's nice to properly meet you. Cerse, nice to meet you too. Yen. Cerse started to check Yen. She's wearing a cheap oversized dress with no makeup on, just a little lip balm. She even has belly fat, yet Taehyung is admiring her like she's the most beautiful girl in this planet. And here she's wearing an expensive designer dress in her perfect body, called professional makeup artists and hairstylists to do her makeup and hair, but Taehyung doesn't even glance at her properly, let alone a compliment. The imagination of him admiring her, seeing her in this attire, just remains as imagination. Cerse clenched her dress tightly, controlling her disappointment, sadness, and jealousy. The dinner began, and it felt like a strange game. Taehyung acted completely natural, totally unaware of the silent war happening across the table. He treated Cerse with deep gratitude and respect, laughing at her jokes and treating her like his best friend. Taehyung, honestly, Cerse, the new project at the office is going great. I couldn't have managed without your guidance. You're the best friend a guy could ask for. Cerse felt a mixture of happiness and sadness. He called her his best friend, which meant she was important, but it also meant she was firmly locked in the friend zone. But whenever Taehyung turned to Yen, his entire aura changed. He became the loving, devoted partner. He fixed Yen's hair, fed her small bites of food from his own fork, and constantly kissed her hand. Yen is just sitting silently playing with the hem of her dress, even though Taehyung doesn't notice Cerse's effort, but she did. She knows Cerse dressed this much gracefully just for Taehyung, her husband. Taehyung's voice bring her back to the reality. Taehyung, love, try this soup, it's warm and good for you. Yen smiled, but inside, she felt uncomfortable. She wondered if Taehyung was being nice to Cerse just to keep his job secure. The doubt was eating her alive. Then came the moment that made the world stop. The waiter brought the main courses, placing a plate of grilled fish in front of Yen. The moment the smell hit Yen's nose, her face turned pale. She covered her mouth and let out a soft, sudden gasp of nausea. Taehyung instantly panicked. He dropped his fork, his face turning completely white with worry. He grabbed a glass of water, holding it to Yen's lips while gently rubbing her back. Taehyung, hey, it's okay, breathe, love. Is the morning sickness coming back now? Drink some water slowly. Cerse froze, her fork stopping halfway to her mouth. Cerse, morning sickness? Taehyung looked up at Cerse, his expression softening into a proud, beautiful smile. He wrapped his arm tightly around Yen, holding her close to his chest. Taehyung, I forgot to tell you the biggest news, Cerse. We are expecting. Yen is pregnant with our twins. I'm going to be a father. The restaurant seemed to go completely silent for Cerse. The air left her lungs. The thing she thought as a belly fat is actually a pregnant womb. It wasn't just a marriage. There were babies, a family, a solid, unbreakable bond that she could never touch or break. Yen, still resting against Taehyung's chest, looked up and met Cerse's eyes. In that breath-stopping moment, Yen saw the complete, devastating heartbreak in Cerse's expression, and Cerse saw the quiet, protective realization in Yen's eyes. Cerse, her voice barely a whisper, choking back her tears. Twins, that's amazing, Tae, congratulations. She looked down at her plate, her hands trembling so violently under the table that she had to grip her dress to hide it. The final door of her hope had just slammed shut. Cerse realized she couldn't take it anymore. She'll burst out anytime. She closed her eyes and take a deep breath. Cerse, I need to leave, thanks for the dinner. She jumped up from her seat and turned around. She almost ran out from the restaurant. Taehyung, what happened to her sudden? He asked, and the reply to his own question. Taehyung, rich peoples are always very busy. Are you feeling okay now? He asked Y or N, but she doesn't reply. Taehyung, let's finish the dinner, okay? He said softly and looked down at his food. He was calmly eating and Y or N was staring at his side from. Does he really don't know what exactly happened to that girl if he's just pretending not to know? The bedroom was entirely silent as the door opened, the cool night air doing nothing to ease the heavy tension that had followed them all the way from the restaurant. After changing into her pajamas, Y or N sat at the corner of the bed, her mind spinning. She knew sleep wouldn't come easily tonight. To divert her mind, she decided to watch a movie on Taehyung's laptop. She opened the screen, but as she moved the trackpad, her finger accidentally clicked on the email icon. The inbox popped up, and a specific subject line caught her eye. It was from Klein Enterprises. The email had arrived yesterday. Frowning with a sudden surge of curiosity, she clicked it open. It was an official confirmation letter. The text stated that Taehyung's position was now permanent, secured under a strict 5-year contract ensuring he could not lose his job. Suddenly, everything became crystal clear. Jungkook's words, Cerse's deep heartbreak, and Taehyung's sudden boldness at the stadium today all lined up perfectly. She let out a short, bitter laugh, the sound cutting through the quiet room. Just then, Taehyung walked out of the bathroom after taking a shower, towel drying his neck. He picked up the hairdryer from the vanity, plugged it in, and started drying his wet hair, completely oblivious. Taehyung, I'm very tired. Y or N, don't start any movie tonight, okay? Let's just rest. Y or N, you didn't tell me you signed a 5-year contract with Clains. Her voice was as cold as ice. The loud whirring of the hairdryer instantly stopped. Taehyung lowered his hand, turning his head slightly toward her. Taehyung, oh, I totally forgot about that. YN, strange. How did you forget such big news? Taehyung, maybe because of the pressure of today's big match. Anyways, let's just sleep. He went to turn the dryer back on, but YN's next words stopped him completely. YN, the email came yesterday. Is this why you finally decided to tell Cerse about our marriage today? Because you got what you wanted, right? Taehyung's hand froze. He slowly turned around to look back at Y or N. She was sitting straight on the edge of the mattress, staring directly into his soul. For the first time, his breath got stuck in his throat, his usual calm composure cracking. YN let out a small, heartbreaking smile. YN, you're still a player. You didn't change a bit. Taehyung, Y or N, let me explain. YN, explain what? That you played with Cerse's feelings to make your way into the Clains. Taehyung dropped the dryer onto the table, his eyes darkening with a mixture of desperation and raw honesty as he took a step toward her. Taehyung, I did it for us, for our babies.